Welcome to the Tennishackery podcast. This is episode number 35, our year end special. Tennishackery is the place where we discuss all things about the fundamentals, fitness, and mindset aspects of the game. We are a group of extremely passionate San Francisco Bay Area based tennis coaches slash geeks. At Tennishackery with a Y is our social media handle. You can find us extremely active on Instagram. We are on X, we are on Facebook. The audio version of this podcast goes to Spotify and Apple. The video version goes to YouTube. Having said that, we have Coach Craig, Soham, and myself here. Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Hey, Sharon.
Hey, Tarun.
Yeah, we've been recording after 2 to 3 weeks, and the year 2025 has gone past so fast, man. So what are we discussing today, Soham?
Yeah, I'm so excited to be on our episode. What are we now at? 35?
35th. This is the 35th episode.
35th. And I was just talking to you earlier offline how it's going to be actually 2 years
Yep.
since we started our first episode.
Yes.
We've had so many amazing people on our show, on our podcasts. We are very fortunate and blessed. And with Coach Craig and Coach Alex, unfortunately, Alex is about to travel for her Christmas, so she couldn't make it. But definitely in spirit, she's here.
Yep.
But
Indeed.
Coach Alex and Coach Craig have had so much good content to share with us for the juniors, for the adults, singles, doubles, men's and women's. We are truly, truly blessed
Indeed.
to have a good group of guys. I don't know, are we maybe tennis nerds, tennis freaks, whatever you may want to call.
Yep.
Just really, really happy to be here to sort of review this year how it went in the world of tennis,
Yep.
which we will touch upon first, and then we want to talk a little bit about what Tennishackery as our much loved startup sort of company that we are dedicated towards building.
Yep.
What kind of milestones have we hit? How did we do from the product side, from our podcast side of things, and what do we have in store for a critical year ahead in 2026, where we are really hoping to reach newer heights, innovate, and learn a lot more about tennis, learn a lot more about people who play tennis. So that's kind of the content and agenda for our episode today. Again, super, super excited to have both of you guys on. So to start off, it's been a fascinating year in the world of tennis, right? For at ATP level, at the WTA level, bunch of controversies, lots of amazing tennis. I think in general the level of tennis has gone up in both men's and women's. I see wonderful competition in men's tennis between two of the best tennis players that I have seen in a while, and then of course the women's is like kind of even, right? We are looking forward to like good competition in women's because on any given day, I feel like there's so much talent now, anyone can really win it. So to start off, Craig, what did you learn from this year in the world of tennis in both the men's and women's? Maybe mention the top three things.
Yeah, well, I'll wrap that up in one phrase that's cliche-ish, but sometimes cliches can be true, even though corny. And the cliche that I have for 2025 is some things change and some things stay the same. And the things that stay the same, relatively recent for sure, the last 2 years. But Sinner Alcaraz, obviously on the men's side, it's this classic arm wrestling match of every major, every Masters 1000 or ATP 500. It's like, where the scales tilt and lean and who's healthy and what surface. And I mean, the discussions are interesting and repetitive. It's all the things, right? It's just it's a heavyweight bout. It's Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic trifecta. It's Sampras Agassi back in the day. It's just a great, we're blessed to have that continuous now on the men's side. It's wild. Seems like nothing changes. It's okay. The big three are gone, and now what's going to happen? Well, there's two new guys, and they just stepped right in. It's crazy.
Yep.
So the men's is still at a crazy level. Instant rivalries. You like one, you don't like the other, and there's people who can handle both. It's great. And on the women's side, it's interesting because as opposed to, sure, there's some rivalries and some math and data there, but it's almost like as much as Sabalenka would play against Coco and Iga, Arena's playing against herself sometimes.
Yeah.
As much as Coco's playing against Sabalenka and Iga, Coco's playing against herself sometimes. As much as Iga's playing, it goes on and on and on. So, and those are the things that change. It's like there was this great, I think last year, if we were having this conversation, it's like, oh, Iga and Arena and Coco, it's like, who's going to come out? And I think I even said, Tarun, I don't know if you recall what I said, but it was like something about the big three.
You talked about the big three in women's tennis.
Yes.
Yes.
And now it's like, okay, well, then it was Madison Keys and the Americans, and Samoa was in a couple major finals, and it's like the big three plus like four other people, and a bit of a tug of war. So, again, like a lot of the women are playing against their rivals and against themselves too as they go through these transitions. So, I think it's great, and I just absolutely love it, and. Tennis is in great hands again, and it's going to be the year in review will start with, if we reverse engineer this, let's see if I can articulate this properly. There's a battle of the sexes that's happening in December in Dubai.
Yep.
That is going to be, I have the same, if people care to go back and take in my revisionist history comments on the mixed doubles U.S. Open championships, this is going to be as much fodder and circus and absolute silliness, that it's just going to be crazy. And then all of a sudden the year is going to be on down under with the pre-tournaments and the Hotman Cup and the Australian Open, and then bam, it's on. So we're in a little snooze mode right now in December, and the training blocks will probably start here if they haven't already next week, and it's going to be hot. But it's been a while in 2025, and it's going to be before 2025 is over. The end of this year with a couple of these events in the Middle East will be interesting to say the least.
Soham and Craig, a quick question or, roundabout. So, what do you think were your favorite matches from 2025? Soham, if I can ask you, if you can go ahead first.
From the matches that I watched, I obviously, it's very difficult for me to pick any other match other than the battle every single time Alcaraz played Sinner.
Yeah.
The reason I'm going to mention it seems like a cliched answer. I can't pick any one particular match between them because they were all so good, and they're all so good for different reasons.
Right.
And the most interesting thing was the same person did not win all the time. I loved after, so the French Open final is insane.
Yeah.
Right? Sinner was points away from winning. And then suddenly things turned around. Alcaraz came back, won it in an incredible five-setter. If I look at a normal tennis player, right, a junior or a young player, that can shatter confidence in someone. What Sinner did to come back from that point,
Right.
and what he did at Wimbledon, and making adjustments,
True.
was crazy, because you're already like 99 percentile. So going from 99.1 to 99.5 in level is so hard. So you're making small, minor adjustments
True.
strategically. Both are amazing fitness people. So it's like strategic, right?
Yep.
Who's gonna crumble under pressure first, kind of thing. And there's so little to choose between them that the Wimbledon final was showed a lot of maturity in Sinner. I just think that Sinner has a great coach with him. Of course, Carlos does, right? But Sinner, I mean, I'm a big fan of Darren Cahill actually,
Yep.
and the way he's come back, especially after what he went through the first 3 months of
Oh
the year.
yes. Yeah.
So just the journey after that, French and then Wimbledon was an amazing achievement, and then it's like Alcaraz adjusted and did something which I don't know whether Sinner was ready for. So it's like mind games, right?
Yeah.
It's like a boxing
Yep.
match.
Yep.
Like someone hits you, then you hit back and
Yep.
you block, you figure out. So I love the battle, and I'm sorry that I'm probably referring to something which is very
Yep.
cliched,
Yep.
but I honestly felt that I can't really pick and choose between which
Yep.
was the
Yep.
single most. It's not like the Nadal and Federer from Wimbledon final in 2008 or something,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So every match taught us something about these guys' character, mentality, fitness, ability to adjust, to showcase the greatness. And I want to ask Craig. I know that the question is about what was your favorite match. I'm only talking about men's. I want to ask Craig before we talk about the women's. Is Craig, my real question is, do you think, or what does it take for someone other to break in
Yep.
from the rest of the group to break in and be part of this rivalry to make it from big two to three? Like, what do they have to do? It's just a crazy, right? Competition.
Uh, yeah, I don't. We touched on this during the year. I don't. We tried to come up with who was going to be the one, and it's. I think about it more often than I think I realize, and I have no idea. It's like I want to try to be the smarter guy in the room and figure it out, and we all follow the tour, and we all analytics and watch matches and sit at night with a beverage maybe and check out some highlights and catch the scuttlebutt of what's happening. I have no idea if it's going to be Taylor Fritz or Demon R or you know Fonseca. It's
Yeah.
who knows. I mean, it's too early to tell, and maybe that's not enough time to be able to tell. Meaning
Right.
the time we put in. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Paul Anacone and Jim Courier know, but I certainly I don't, and so since I don't, I will say this: I don't see anybody cracking that top two nut right now
Yeah.
with who's out there. As much as I like Taylor's improvements, I watched Taylor play Zverev at the Laver Cup live. It was, and I've seen Taylor play in Indian Wells and practice and do other. It was one of the cleaner matches I've
Right.
ever seen anybody play against a top three player. Granted, Zverev was three. I mean, Fritz was like four maybe at the time, but damn, it was unbelievable that he had Zverev on a string and just played absolutely awesome. And with that being said, watching Alcaraz play that weekend,
Yep.
I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna.
Yeah.
It's just two. It's almost like two different cities. It just doesn't. I just don't know who's gonna crack it yet.
Yep.
So I don't know. But on the women's side, can I talk about the
Yes.
women's real
Absolutely.
quick?
Please.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So, so the men's Soham, I agree. It's like yeah, that French Open final was ridiculous. It was a classic. It was amazing. That's probably the men's match that I remember the most. But there's like three women's matches that I remember. The Victoria Mbuko final against in Montreal against
Hmm.
Osaka,
Right.
Yeah.
and then she had another match. I apologize, I can't remember what it was, but she had one more match. I don't know if it was at the U.S. Open or somewhere else that was awesome. Was it against Venus? Maybe. I think she played a match against
Okay.
Venus that was really really good.
Mukova. Yes. In the U.S. Open. Yes.
Yes, and then Iala, the
Yeah.
Filipino player in the first round of the Open. She had that crazy comeback.
Yep.
I was watching it with my mom, at her house up in Sacramento, and it was unbelievable. The whole crowd. It was like when Connors went on his run. The whole crowd was behind this girl who was 17, 18 years old. It was absolutely insane. And you see these more and more now with Fernandez and Raducanu, but there's something about Ayala and her group and the following and the culture that she's created over the last couple of years in junior tennis. The women had depth of memorable matches this year. It was
Yeah.
awesome, and it was just women's tennis is so deep now with such young players. It's just amazing. And you guys know I love my Demonars and some of these young, fast roadrunners that are just awesome. That are, we wish we could turn back the clock and be like this physical presence. The women are just crushing it in that way. And I'm a big Emma Navarro fan, but there's Iala and Mboko, and it's in such great hands right now. It's just going to be a great, whether you watch a first round in Montreal or a final at the U.S. Open, it's going to be awesome on the women's side. It's just going to be, and storylines galore.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yep.
It's going to be fantastic. So,
Yes,
and
indeed.
it was a great year.
I have a question for you, Tarun.
Yes.
You're the stats guy, right? Do you have any interesting stats that you want to share?
Not, I mean, nothing really stands out from the pro game other than the fact that I think increasingly it's becoming more and more aware that the return game is very important I see that especially on the men's side. In fact, I've felt, especially looking at these Sinner Alcaraz matches, that the player who had superior return stats won the match. I mean, Sinner's returning was phenomenal. I think that was the big thing, even in the Roland Garros final as well as in the Wimbledon final. His returning was top notch. It's just that bit, like, he was so quick on the ball, taking it sometimes on the rise and sending it deep and middle. And Alcaraz's returned the favor in the US Open final. There, his returning was insane.
Exactly.
So we all know that it's returning is like, especially in the women's game, the second serve returns, they try to take control of the point. Arena Sabalenka being prime example. But I can see that following Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray's success with the return game, I think it's becoming the return stats are becoming very important in the pro game, both ATP, WTA.
Completely agree. In fact, I just want to touch really quickly on the women's part. So I don't always watch too many women's match just because I just feel like the men's they pay more attention to men sometimes in terms of coverage,
Right.
but the women's was actually more exciting to me this
Yes.
year
Yeah.
because of the kind of you couldn't tell who's going to win because there were like through several candidates, not just one or two. I just want to say that the American girls did a really good job this year,
Yep.
and I expect to see them continue to get better. I'm a big fan of Madison Keys. The way she won that
Oh,
Australian Open was amazing.
clearly
I
amazing.
love her, just rising to the occasions and taking it, uh, just being aggressive and being able to win that Australian Open was
Yeah,
fantastic.
what clean hitting. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
really good, very impressive. And she has a great team around her. I really appreciate. That was great to see. I mean, she didn't win another slam, but I think Coco adjusting in clay
Yes.
was another fantastic achievement for her. I think she did a very good job with the French. She played the conditions really well that day. I
Right.
remember. It was not the best conditions out there, but she
Oh
adjusted,
yes.
and I think she's
It was
kind of
ugly tennis for
comfortable.
sure, but she came through. Yes.
Yeah, but it was effective,
Yeah.
and I know that Sabalenka wasn't the happiest camper out there, but I think honestly Coco earned it. And then to finish the year on the last two slams, I think Amanda played so well. She played so well in that semifinals of the Wimbledon, but I think Iga was next level, and
Yes.
I know you enjoyed that match,
Yeah.
Tarun. You
Yeah.
brought it up before,
Yeah.
but hats off to Iga because I don't think many people had her winning the Wimbledon.
Yeah. It was her least
That's
favorite
least favorite
surface.
surface, right?
Yes.
So I think Iga was phenomenal at Wimbledon, and in the US.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Sabalenka, I think, was under pressure in several matches.
Yeah.
If I remember, I think several of them went to three sets. But I think her growth from a mental standpoint was massive, I think, this year.
Yeah.
So look forward to another good year of women's tennis. Craig, I don't know how much men's, women's, and mixed doubles that you watched. Maybe you wanna touch upon that real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I try to. I love the doubles. I don't. There's just not a ton. You have to search for doubles, right, to watch it.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a ton available. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm big. Whether it's Neil Skupski, Taylor Townsend. I come from an old school. Net player doubles. The two back, I think, is super effective and very
Yes.
logical. Not my style, but and there's data behind that, Tarun, that I'm sure we'll talk about. But I love that aggressive play, and I think you're going to see more and more doubles come about in the next 2 to 3 to 5 years. Especially as much as I wasn't a big fan of the mixed exhibition Grand Slam
Yeah.
final at the U.S. Open. What you'll see with that is copycat from other big tournaments, and more prize money is going to attract bigger players, going to attract more popularity, more exposure. So the exposure that you see when these players go out and play, when you see Ben Shelton and Taylor Townsend team up, or
Right.
whoever is going to
Yes.
Ben Shelton and Matt Keys, sure there'll be an appearance fee or a first round. You're guaranteed like $100,000, whatever. That's fine, but they still want to win. So they'll be executing doubles in an interesting way that we'll all be able to take tidbits from.
Right.
So, they'll play aggressive, whether it's Ben Shelton that has a big serve or Egan that has a good return. As players, we'll be able to take little nuggets from these events in the near future in mixed and in doubles that you'll see more of.
Right.
So I do think that doubles, as hard as it is to find in recent years and currently, the one good thing that this mixed doubles exhibition Grand Slam final turned out to be was it is going to garner more popularity and more exposure, which for us tennis nerds and doubles aficionados, there'll be some deep dive opportunities in that, and it'll be fun to see what pops up. And I think mixed is popular because it does involve men and women. It's not just
Yeah.
people watching men's doubles for the firepower and the poaching. It's not just watching women's doubles because it's more relatable. It's going to be a little bit of everything. So I'm excited to see where doubles goes in these next few
Yeah.
years. I'm a doubles player for the most part now, so I'm definitely a doubles nerd. So, and we've had, whether it's Wool in the tennis tribe or Gigi and her, Gigi method. It's a great. There's a lot to uncover in doubles, and it's this onion, all the layers of the onion that you could peel back over years and years and years. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And before we talk a little bit about our journey at Tennishackery and what we are doing, I want to ask a really quick question as a segue into our Tennishackery company and what we have achieved. Guys, in this year 2025, what have you guys observed in terms of growth in tennis locally and what you hear about nationally, internationally? I know there is more competition nowadays with sports like pickleball
Yeah.
and paddle and a bunch of other things. But generally, because you guys are out there grinding on the court, teaching, dealing with high school juniors and whatnot, do you actually see it that tennis is growing? It's very difficult. To me, it's like top three toughest sport, especially singles tennis.
Yeah.
So, what is your guys' opinion on what you have observed in year of 2025? Just being just out there.
Oh,
Tarun, you can go first, and then Craig, please follow up with your observations.
sure. I definitely think tennis is thriving. I think it's there's a lot of interest. I think high school tennis. I mean, there's a lot of enthusiasm. We've been having full rosters, even though we are supposed to be no cut. We've actually had to cut kids and give them opportunity in the following year. So I think the courts are always full. If you look around, league tennis is thriving. Uh, uh, like if you just look at all the local teams across all playing levels, whether it's like 3-0 to 4-5-5-0, a lot of participation. I mean, the courts are full. I think yes, and I do see like a lot of so with pickleball being a very very good alternative to a racket sport. I do see that the and I do see some like I'm always like you know me, I'm always like kind of like pickleball on tennis courts, please have your own courts kind of logic. But I do see that like the tennis community also coming together and advocating for their sport. So at the advocacy level I have seen that. So there are more tennis folks who are actually more engaged, and they're asking for saying that okay, courts are busy, let's find ways to expand the facilities, ask for more courts. For example, here locally we've had courts being relayed, floodlights being put up. So I'm sure this is being replicated across different places in the country. So I think at the local level tennis is definitely thriving. I think USTA is also giving out a lot of grants in terms of to spread the sport, because I think they have some milestone of 35 under 35 where they want to get like a third of the population playing tennis. A very ambitious goal, but I do see that there is some grant money being given out, and you do see some grassroots level changes.
Thank you, Tarun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Craig?
Yeah, I agree. So where I've been in the last 15 years, in some private and exclusively private and now some public places in tennis, seeing a couple things, and I concur with Tarun, where for junior tennis, very popular, parents, kids, both realizing that it's such a great opportunity to be social, safely competitive,
Right.
fun, developmental. Literally, I think learning at a young age, like life skills, how to be social on a court with like 12 people, for when you're dealing with kids in a group,
Right.
how to be competitive, how to be fun, how to be developmental, how to listen, coaching directives, how to work together, whether we're teaching the doubles or singles. Parents and kids, when you have the right coach and the right kid and a supportive parent, it's a beautiful thing. And I think that goes into what we talk about when we coach even serious players, where when you have a coach buy-in, a parent buy-in, and a player buy-in, when we talk about our FFM model for Tennis Hackery, that's when things get really good, right? And so I think we're finding that, Tarun, like you said, at a young age,
Right.
innocently. They don't even realize it yet, but there's parents and kids like what we're offering. What I'm finding at the adult level is a little different. Adults are looking for more offerings, that people are waning out and going to pickleball
Yeah.
because there's less court coverage and it's a little more social, a little more fun. Tennis is harder.
Yeah, for sure.
It's tougher on the body. Even doubles, the women's doubles players that I coached at a private club, it's like, even the court is too big for them. When you're dealing with 55 plus and
Yeah.
40 plus, sometimes it's like, eh, it's sometimes the same element over and over and
Right.
over again. So I think with the adult men and women who are 40 plus, we need to be a little more creative and a little more, have some different offerings and some more competitive deals for them, so they can challenge themselves with their skill set. Where the kids, that we have that in spades, and I totally agree with you, Tarun. It's like it's a little bit of a renaissance. It's a
Yeah.
it's awesome to see the energy
Yeah.
and the willingness from the parents to get their kids out to tennis 2 times a week. And when you explain to a parent that tennis is much like learning a language, playing an instrument,
Right.
taking a math class, whatever it is, once a week, your kid's going to be okay. They're going to learn, but they're not going to really progress in a large fashion. They play twice a week, progressions are going to get slightly better. All of a sudden, if they play twice a week at the club, once a week with a friend, and then once a week with a parent, that's like 4 times a week, 2 times organized with a club or association activity, i.e., group class, affiliated class, once with a parent, once with a friend. That's 4 times a week now becomes massive.
Yeah.
That's a big jump from twice a week or once a week.
Yeah.
And so if you're practicing a language 4 times a week instead of once or twice a week, you're going to be exponentially better. If you're practicing a math class, you're going to be exponentially better. If you're doing a piano lesson 4 times a week, or practicing on your own, even if you're taking it twice a week and practicing on your own 1 or 2 times a week, you are going to be that much better. Tennis is the same thing, and I'm seeing real time in these last 18, 24 months, parents believe that and they see that and they execute that with their kid, and it's great to see. And tournament play is up, green ball tournaments, standard ball L7s, L6s, and L5s. It's really, really nice to see the offerings. We're blessed enough in Northern California to have a lot of weather and offerings in many, and parents are willing to travel hours to these places, which are fairly decent. We're really lucky, and as coaches, we need to realize that and continue to offer these services, whether it's through our Tennis Hackery FFM model, or just to make sure our kids have access to good resources and tournaments and things that we can tell them to go to. It's we're really lucky where we are right now from tennis and juniors for sure.
Absolutely, and great insight, guys. And it's when I see young kids, I always, whether they're on their own or I'm coaching next to them, I always go and say that, you guys should consider tennis, at least give it a try. The pitch is, it's the world's healthiest sport.
Absolutely.
So you live and almost an additional 10 years extra if you play like a good level of tennis. So and a lot of kids that I see, I'm working with a lot of young kids, beginners, intermediate, advanced, who are going through the ranks, going upwards in their tennis journey. Is they're excited. It's tough. No one said it's easy,
Yeah.
but the amount of life lessons that you learn,
Yeah.
especially going through that journey, going through that ebbs of sort of ups and downs, in like winning and losing.
Yep.
You don't win a lot of times. You don't win a lot of your matches, right? But how do you cope with that from an emotional level? How do you come back the next day after you just get double bageled or something like that? Teaches a lot about somebody's attitude in life. And it definitely, tennis is such a sport, at least singles for sure, dealing with emotions, dealing with the ups and downs. It teaches you a lot about life, which you can actually transfer learn those learnings
Yep.
in everyday practical life and other things and professional career and whatnot. So it makes you maybe stronger, a fighter or whatnot. And in doubles, it's teamwork and
Absolutely.
strategy, and that's like communication skills. Again, these are very helpful skills, and the tools that you can use to learn and pick up on these things and enhance them, and solidify those kind of skill sets are crucial, which is why which brings us to the second half of our episode here is about what we are achieving at Tennis Hacker, and all these things are helpful uh, packets and nuggets of information that we use because we are so committed, and we are so close to the game of tennis. We love the game so much that we want to go out and help juniors and adults, singles and doubles, men's and women's of all ages
Right.
with their tennis journey. So, Tarun, I want you to talk about where we are at with Tennis Hackery. What have we done in the past 6 months or so, where we are at from a product standpoint?
Yep.
Because we know we touched upon how we have had wonderful guests in our podcast. We're now 34 episodes before this. great guests. We have learned a lot. And what have we achieved from a product standpoint?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Where are we at?
Yeah, so I'll start with our guests first because our guests just make our podcast so much better. We've had some very notable guests during this year, like Jeff Greenwald. We had one of the greatest doubles players, Gigi Fernandez. We had Lisa Stone from Parenting Aces. We had Craig O'Shaughnessy. We call him the grandmaster of tennis strategy and analytics. So these were like amazing, insightful interviews to have from people who have achieved a lot and reached the top of the tennis field. A lot of things to learn from. I definitely recommend our listeners and our viewers to go back, take a look, go to our YouTube channel and take a look again at those episodes. You'll find lots and lots of nuggets in there that could help you improve your game. From tennis, from a tennis hackery standpoint, I think this was a year of good growth for us. Like we started the year out with the launch of our website, tennishackery.com. If you recall, last year, like 2024, we kept promising it's the website is under the works, but we finally launched it in January. You can go there, you can find all our podcasts listed there. You can book consultations with us. You can book a match analysis, stuff like that. So that's the place to go and find everything about Tennis Hackery. Now, we are making a transition from being a pure media side, like a podcast, which is one of the main goals of Tennis Hackery, to give excellent tennis information out there, thanks to our experts, Coach Craig and Coach Alex. So that's being on one side. What we really want to be is we want to be a technology company. We want to help advance the tennis match analytics using the fundamentals, fitness, and mind. I mean, what we want to do is we want to give the kids, the adults, individuals, and teams a sense of mastery. We want you to treat tennis as something in which you can improve your results, not through short-term tricks or hacks, even though hack is in our name, but through like proper sustainable improvement. And we believe that applying data analytics, match analysis, video, we can help you achieve that. So we combine both the qualitative as well as the quantitative aspects, and we give you a good match analytics package. And before you think it's all AI, perhaps some of it is, but we do have our coaches, Craig, Alex, take a look at this, do the biomechanic analysis, look at the data, and then give you, those insights. So we will soon be launching this platform in spring of next year, and we are extremely excited about what 2026 is going to bring about.
Great. Thank you so much, Tarun. I think the team overall has done a great job in building what we are trying to build.
Yes.
We have a beta product out there. We've been successfully so far testing. We have one client who we have been using this product on, and they've been very satisfied with the services so far, which we are very thankful of, and they're actually helping us get better. We are innovating and iteratively improving incrementally, adding features that will only help the tennis growth and journey of an individual player, which we will also scale to teams as well.
Yes.
Help USTA teams. And our client has had very positive feedback. They're seeing positive improvement in their technique, in their mindset, and it's showing up in their tennis results, which we are very happy to hear, right?
Yep.
And it only gives us more reason to be positive with the future clients that we have. So definitely, it's whoever is listening, please do send us your Swing Vision videos on through our website,
Yep.
and in future we will also make sure that anybody who takes a video, it doesn't necessarily have to be Swing Vision, hopefully even from your phones, we should be able to process that as a source feed for our video package output as well.
Yep.
Now, I want to ask Craig a real question. Craig, you have done such great work as an expert coach analysis, whether it's biomechanical analysis or breaking down some of our clients' match play, right?
Yep.
Um, and giving very good feedback, whether it's under fundamentals, fitness, or mindset. Can you share with us some common patterns that you see from our clients, and maybe what's your feedback on terms of improvement that they can go?
Yeah, I think if I were to just totally dumb it down to ruin, you don't even know what I'm gonna say, even though I think you know what I'm gonna say. But I promise we didn't pre-do this. This was not the pre-show. But so I had somebody tell me one time when I was coaching, it's like, you're telling me it's as easy as keeping it in between the lines, and I'm like, yes, just keep it in between the lines. And Andy Murray does this drill that I'm a big fan of, it, and it's a cone zone drill. He puts the cones like 3 feet on either side of the center service line, and he's done 8 billion reps through the cone zones of hitting the ball across the court. And he's one of the best rally players of all time. And I think it's not the sexiest drill. Clients come to us and it's like, how can I quick hack, quick fix, or what do I need to even do long term? What do I need to do? Well, guess what you need to do? You need to master your, even though tennis points are ending in 4 to 6 shots, the reality is if you can be an 8 ball rally player, then you're going to win those in 4 to 5 shots because you're going to be able to last 8.
Yep.
And that's kind of like the transcendent point of that operational philosophy, is like, you've got to be able to go in the grind and be a Murray, a Demonar, somebody who goes in. If you don't have the firepower, of a Sabalenka or Anisimova, you need to be Iga, you need to be Coco, you need to be able to grind and fight. And as much as we want to talk about technique, technique to me is like fourth on the list of things that we should be talking about as coaches. And if people are like, fourth, that's like the first thing I go to. It's like what I spend all night on as a coach, like thinking about what I'm going to do with my ladies, the next day, and like 4-0 guy. It's like, we got to do technique. Well, when you think about tennis, if you think about the fundamentals of tennis, tennis is a movement-based sport, which we've had many discussions about. So if tennis is a movement-based sport, then it's footwork first.
Yep.
And then if it's footwork first, then that allows you to get into the correct court position, which is number 2. And if you're in the correct court position, then guess what you can do? You can select the correct shot. So if you have the correct shot selection, that's number 3. Well, now we're talking about the shot, which is technique based. That's the fourth thing. So technique is clearly the fourth thing we need to worry about, but we tend to reverse engineer all the time. But when you go to a 3-0 guy or a 3-0 lady, it's like, hey, let's work on speed, agility, quickness. And they're like, oh, I don't know how that's going to go today. We don't necessarily want to do that.
Yeah.
Juniors, it might be a little easier, even though the ask is a lot, but they want to hit balls. And we've had this talk before. You have an hour and a half to 2 hours. They want to hit as many balls as they can, get their heart rate up. Those things aren't necessarily hitting balls, and technique is the biggest thing. But footwork for us, we know that's the meat and potatoes of what we need to do. So, as a coach, evolving and balancing to what the client wants, to what we do well,
Yes.
and then incorporating that model of what is necessarily, I don't know if sexy is the right word, but doing the right thing by the client. We might have our philosophies, but then understanding what the client needs and
Absolutely.
being able to kind of fit that, like be water, right? Like Bruce Lee said, you need to be liquidy and find that flow. You know, I think that's really, really critical in that client parent coach relationship and making sure we're on the right path. So we have to be flexible.
Yep.
We have to be flexible as a coach. Arguably, have to be flexible as a player and a parent. Our goal, I think, here at Tennishackery for our FFM model is also be flexible with the players. So, just like you said, it's like, what are our tendencies? What are we seeing? Yeah, I think we see some pretty basic things. We need to be more consistent, less power, get more balls in. But that's all different between the player. Who we have, who we are doing our analysis with.
Yep.
And I think between Soham and Tarun and Alex and me, we try to be as flexible as we can, but still have a lane that we go in to help our client be successful. And I think that's what we can look forward to going into the year's future. And I think we're all excited to do that for sure.
For sure,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Very excited indeed, and great way to summarize it. The only thing I would add to that is one of the things that I see, not just on the clients that we work with and do expert coaching and video analysis and split screen analysis, where we are showing from day one to day 30 what's changed. Definitely, one of the things that I see even on court is juniors having a lot of trouble with serves.
Yes.
Serves and returns. And I know we did a
Yeah.
the last few episodes that we did.
Yes.
Please, whoever's watching, please go and check out those episodes, part one and part two on serves and returns, because honestly, every day that I go on court and I see someone or the other is struggling with serves because their lower body is unmoving, or they're just not rotating their shoulders, or they're not bending their knees. So definitely something that as the tennis sacri team we're aware of, and we have really like for at least one of our clients broken down biomechanically how we can help them improve, and we definitely see that change and
Yep.
in their results. So definitely look forward to doing more of these deep dive analysis to show how they are gonna and be helpful to them, not just technically but also fundamentally, also fitness wise, also strategically,
Yes.
how they can improve
Absolutely.
various parts of their strokes, not just serves and returns. Tarun, to finish off on this, do you have any statistics that you want to share that you saw from the data analytics
Yeah.
graphs that we
Right.
generated?
Yes. So, uh, if there's one thing I have learned from Coach Craig O'Shaughnessy, it is to keep statistics very simple. Like we don't want to like the numbers always have to be seen in context. So, some of the trends that we have seen and which we have spoken about, I think, in the serve and return episode, which I'd like to reiterate here, we've seen across many matches is uh, the importance of the serve, of course, but what we have seen is too many first serves are being wasted by just attempting big flat serves uh, with very less accuracy. So the other point is the first serve percentage goes down because huge flat serves are being attempted. But even if they make it, it's easier for the returner to return. So we do see that once those flat serves are made, the returns just come back and neutralize the point. But what we've seen is on when the first serve is a slice serve, especially if it's a slice serve or even a kick serve, we do see that there is some the accuracy goes up, and once the return comes back, the likelihood of winning the points, the percentages also go up. This shows that there is some thought being put into, okay, where am I moving the returner in the box, and then set up the next shot. So I would definitely advise, or at least the statistics show that being mindful and developing an all-round serve is very important. Uh, in doubles, we have seen that with some of the players for whom we charted matches, we did data analytics. We saw that yes, getting to the net and having a good net game is very, very important. The importance of the transition game. Yes, you can hit ground strokes, but your ground strokes can be disrupted by good net players. So getting to the net. Understanding how, as a net player, how to move. So we've learned this from like high school coaching, like to teach players to move forward and back based on how, if you see the ball in front of you, you got to move up. The ball is behind you, move back, and just and understand offense, neutral, and defense in terms of the court positioning as well as how the ball is struck. So some of these things really have stood out in the overall match analytics that we have seen at the macro level.
No, thank you for sharing that. I see. And the only thing I would say is, like, I always encourage the kids to train not just singles but also doubles, because both are very different strategically, and having a bigger toolbox and skill set, that an array of them, is beneficial for a wholesome tennis player. And really, at Tennishackery, that's our goal, long term, is to, whoever we work with, we go through all the analytics and the journey that we are going through with them. Our goal is to make them a more wholesome tennis player, which is really our motto at Tennishackery. And I'm sure, Craig, you're always, you and Alex are so instrumental to us, that I'm sure with your guys' guidance, we will have a lot of our players become the wholesome tennis player that we want them to achieve, right?
Well, the model that we provide is the platform that you guys work so hard to give our clients is not only wholesome but effective and quality, and not everything they need, but it is a big chunk of what all of the players need to be successful, and the guests, the content, everything that we've provided over the last 18-24 months is designed towards that. So it's a pleasure to be a part and do the wholesome tennis and the FFM model. It's great. It's to live and breathe and drink tennis.
Absolutely, yes.
It's so much fun.
I'm so
Yeah,
thankful
yeah.
for a wonderful team that we have, and thankful for the great 2025.
Likewise, guys, I just want to say, to close out at least my segment, is, it's like every year, it's a pleasure to be part of this team, because I love all of you guys individually for the value that you bring, both to Tennishackery and outside of Tennishackery. We are also great friends outside. We are partners in crime, both on and off court, like they say. And I am so excited to grow Tennishackery to various heights, scales, reach out to juniors, adults of all ages. Like I said, gender, all genders here. No one to single out, and excited in general, because I think we can make a difference to the tennis journey of a lot of players in the community. And we look forward to certain partnerships with entities that can only help us and help them in win-win situations. And look forward to some local tournaments too,
Yep.
that we plan to host,
Yep.
which we will advertise. And just once again, thank you guys for great work at Tennishackery this year. And I look forward, like every year, to keep working with you guys day in, day out.
Very well said, Soham. And with
Indeed.
that, we come to the end of the final episode of 2025. Again, at Tennishackery with a Y is where you can find us on the internet. We are extremely active on Instagram. Our social media handle is exactly the same on X, Facebook. We are the audio version of this podcast goes to Spotify and Apple. The video version goes live to YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, and engage with us on all these social media platforms, and tell your friends about us. With that, we come to the end of the episode. Happy holidays, and see you next year. Bye.
Happy holidays, all.